the hidden stash of the all-new KJOG-FM. We finally made contact with Mr. Hyde. He's live on the air with us right now. What's up, Hyde?
What up?
How's it going, man?
Chilling, hanging in there. What's going on?
Not much. So this is DJ DP. I'm going to do your interview.
All right, let's bring it on. I know I screwed up a little bit. I thought you guys had my number and whatever, but let's get it popping.
We got it now, so it's all good.
So the first question, how long have you been on Psychological Records for?
Psychological, basically, I met Necro in '97 at a show, and we hit it off pretty good. Anyway, we've been friends ever since. We had a lot of stuff in common. So I gotta edit myself here. I was about to say,
yeah,
the bad one. I certainly appreciate it.
I forget. I do so many underground radio, and it's so much stuff. But I'll be all right. I'm gonna pretend like there's a little baby in the room. But but yeah. So now I've been down with Psychological for forever since the beginning of it. In '97, he didn't have a label yet. He was just actually putting out singles through Fat Beats and through independent distributors and stuff like that. And basically, I was with him the whole time when he built the label.
Nice.
When he released "I Need Drugs" in 2000, basically that was the first album out on that actually Psychological Records, and I was with him the whole time. You know what I mean? So since its inception, I've been there.
Nice.
I've been on every feature pretty much that Nick was released.
And DJ DP, he actually just showed me the "I Need Drugs" video the other day, and I'm like, that is a trip. Like, a lot of Necro's videos are just totally a trip, especially the "I Need Drugs" one.
Yeah, man, it's it's exploitational. We get a kick out of it. We're big fans of all exploitation flicks, like forever. The '70s, crazy grindhouse flicks, and the horror flicks, the real low budget campy stuff. Anything that's like foul and exploitational, and we love to sink our teeth into that stuff. So I mean, he had the idea. It was like, yo, Howie, we got, basically a total drug addict, crackhead, heroin addict, street thug, always in the streets, getting locked up, like forever. And he knew he was getting high, and he knew where he was getting high. He was like, oh, you know what? We're gonna film you. We're gonna hook you up. We're gonna buy you some, a couple of bundles. And Howie's like, I don't care, man. Just buy me some drugs, and I'll let you do whatever you want.
Well, rest in peace to Uncle Howie,
he didn't
too.
know he was gonna become a star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Howie became a big star from that.
And rest in peace to Uncle Howie, too.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was straight up character, that guy.
Yeah.
He made everybody laugh. Everybody. The room was always in a better state of mind when Howie was there. He always say something bugged out or make us laugh, or give you a lesson on life. He's been through so much stuff.
Yeah.
So much hard times and things. There's crazy stories about Howie. He fought like five pit bulls and survived. He jumped out of a burning building and survived. You know what I mean? Mad trips to Rikers Island, survived.
Man.
He was a survivor. Cancer finally got him, but R.I.P.
Yeah. Next question is, how is it living in a big city such as New York and being an underground artist?
Well, it actually has its pros and cons. Growing up, there was a lot of outlets here and a lot of opportunities for me because I grew up in the heart of it. Basically, I was going to open mics, battles. That I would say back. I started around in '92, and in New York, just like always around in public schools. Everybody was, the public schools around here. Everybody was a rapper or doing something, or they were making beats on the lunchroom table, and with our fists and stuff, and just battling in the schoolyard, things like that. And if I picked it up, and we basically, I started going to open mics and just showcasing myself. I had a couple of people tell me that, to do it for real. I was good enough to do it for real, and I was just doing it as a hobby with one of my boys. We started a group called Catch-22. But in New York, in a big city like that, there's always an outlet. There's always somebody else who listens to hip hop, and there's always somebody to battle, or somebody to to give an ear to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it was kind of street all the time. You could just walk up certain areas, and people be ciphering in the park and doing whatever. I guess in small towns and small areas, you have to travel further to find more people into the same stuff you're into. But there was always an open mic. You'd have to check events. And you would go Lyricist Lounge, New York Poets Cafe, Wetlands. These were big spots, when I was coming up. So it was definitely an advantage. But now it's kind of more like a rat race because everybody there's so many people, and hip hop is so big now, and for what it's become, everybody wants to be a rapper or a producer or like, you know, a video maker. So, you know, you get a lot of garbage out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, every other person you meet, you know, thinks you rhymed.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, whatever.
So you sent me your CD, If It Bleeds, We Can Kill It. Now,
yeah, I did. That was my newest. The newest thing I put
mean,
out.
as soon as I got that, popped it in, listened to it, very phenomenal. I really like it. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how you would compare it to your other CDs?
Well, my first two solo albums, Born of the Naked Dead and Chronicles of the Beastman, they're basically official albums with, you know, 100% from scratch, you know, beats that either Necro made or Sean Stranger made, or, you know, but this. What happened with this is that Necro was busy with Godfathers and doing a lot of the stuff, the Murder, Kill CD, and he had a lot of projects that he was working on, and I was just getting basically an influx, bombarded by fans saying, yo, Hyde, you got to put out a new album, you got to put something out. So what I did was, because I didn't have the beats, I had a lot of people offering me free beats, but I didn't want to put out a solo album, an official solo album with like unknown producers. You know, being that my last couple of albums was, you know, had Necro beats. So, like, people would be like, what the hell? You know, you're coming out with, like, totally unknown name producers. Even if the beats were dope, you know, I wouldn't put out something that wasn't hot. But, like, so I figured, let me do something different. I'm going to put out a mix CD and album structure. So, basically, I used a lot of industry beats that were classic to me, like classic beats from Premier and RZA and Havoc and just like, stuff that people can't front on. So, like, I made a mix CD, but kind of album structures with the intros and the themes and cinematic feel. I put out a video for Hellbound, and, you know, it was kind of like a makeshift thing, something makeshift to keep hold the fans over, but it ended up coming out like album quality. So because I'm a perfectionist and I try not to like do anything half-assed at all or anything lazy. So I figured if I was going to do it, I'm going to pick my favorite classic beats of all time that I always wanted to spit on. And, you know, I figure people, it's the next best thing. They're not going to get Necro beats, but they're going to get classic beats with me killing it just as good or better than the original artist who rapped on it.
Yeah.
I look at it like that. There were a couple of original beats that I had chopped up and looped. So there's like, 2 or 3 tracks that I kind of produced with my engineer in the studio. And, you know what I mean? So shout out to Multiple Blast off. He's Dragon's Last Studio.
Nice.
He helped me out on a few of those, the early Mr.Hyde production things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, like everything that you put out and everything that Necro's put out, I mean, I've been down with PLR for like a while now, since probably 2005.
I appreciate that,
so
man. Yo, it's the people like you, who's been there since the beginning and keep spreading the word about us. That helps, because we don't have that, because we're so exploitational and so foul and so cutting edge and original, and we don't sound like what's on the radio right now.
Exactly.
On mainstream radio. We need cats like you to spread the word,
exactly.
Word of mouth, and through radio and through underground. That's how it's got to go, because a lot of the artists are not going to get that exposure.
Yeah, I mean,
we think outside the box. We're not gonna do something that's been done before. We try not to. You know what I mean? I really don't listen to much music as far as outside of my clique, so I don't really. That's why usually when you hear me, it's usually something you've never heard before, because I'm really not influenced by anything presently at the time,
Yeah, sometimes that's better, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Something fresh.
It comes out of my own sick head, I'm still, whatever's happening to me, I'm sitting in my boxer shorts, in the house. Like, I just finished watching some really foul exploitation flick or whatever just happened, you know what I mean?
Eating some greasy Chinese food.
Writing,
So I got a couple more questions, and then we'll get into your track, The Beastman Cometh, off of the CD that you sent me.
Yep.
Do you have any advice for the underground movement, such as artists coming up or just starting out?
Advice. Basically, it's such a difficult game at this point, because it's so over flooded. The market is so flooded with so much crap out there and so many people trying to do hip hop, that if you're not gonna, this would be my advice. If you're not gonna be in it 100% and spending all your time doing it, then don't do it. You got to put your full effort into it, and you'll know if you're putting in your full effort, and you're grinding the way you should be grinding. You know what I mean? That means like no running around, just chilling on the corner or doing put your all into it, because there's so many artists coming up and trying to do the, and only a handful will make it. And especially in the underground. In the underground, it's like, it's not as rewarding as if you're going to be a mainstream artist and you get picked up. And most people trying to be mainstream don't get picked up either. So,
Right.
it's a very small fraction. So you got to really be dedicated and put your all into it. Or else I wouldn't, just keep packing groceries.
All right, and my last question is just kind of an off-the-wall question. I know that you were talking about liking horror movies and stuff, and I mean, I've noticed that with the, your lyrics and stuff.
Right. I'm off the wall too, so
now,
bring them on.
Do you like newer or older horror movies?
Well, it's funny because I just came back from watching. Last week I went to see the Evil Dead remake.
Yes.
And I feel like everybody's like, a lot of right now. It seems like the horror genre in general has run out of ideas, and they keep remaking everything, all the old classic stuff. I mean, I'm more old school when it comes to horror. I like the original aspect, like when the topic was first done by the original director and the original actors, and that first time you see like a really crazy scenario like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like Evil Dead. Like the first time you see that, you're like, wow, it blows your mind. Especially I watched those when I was a little kid, and you see something that crazy at first, and the acting and the storyline and whatever, just every crazy situation. So like the first time is always the best. Nowadays, obviously, they do a lot more special effects, and they got a lot more like CGI and craziness. And I mean, I thought that the remake was excellent. It was done well. I mean, Bruce Campbell was involved, so it was sick. I knew he was gonna make sure that it was a good representation of the original. I mean, it was a splatter fest. There was a lot of gore, a lot of blood. Did you see it?
Oh,
yeah.
All three of us
went
and saw it.
And I thought it was a cool flip at the end, what they did. I'm not going to kill it for anybody who didn't see it, but I thought it was a cool flip. It had me thinking one way, and it went somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, so I thought that was pretty crazy and pretty creative. I mean, I'm going to always be old school. I love the original more. I love, just for the sheer originality and the concepts. And I mean, but like once in a while they'll make a banger. Like The Hills Have Eyes remake was great. You know what I mean? I liked Insidious. There's some.
That movie was great. Insidious. I love that one.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Insidious. The way it was filmed was sick, and the idea was crazy. So I mean, you don't. A lot of the times you don't really have to come with all the crazy gore and effects if you have a good idea and a good structure and good acting. You know what I mean? So I mean, it all depends on the director. I mean, there's some real dope newer flicks like that. High Tension's incredible. Like the foreign flicks, the French are really going off. There's a movie called Martyrs that was crazy.
Right.
I'm giving my picks right now. So everybody get your pen and pad down and write down Hyde's top horror picks. So, the new stuff.
Well,
but yeah, there's some ill stuff. There's a movie called Inside where this pregnant lady gets tormented the whole movie. It's foul. You watch
That's crazy.
what the hell am I watching?
We're gonna get into your song, "The Beastman Cometh," and then I'll talk to you off air for like probably just a few minutes, and then I'll let you go so that way you get rest because I know it's like 2 o'clock in the morning almost.
Yeah, that's all right. No rest for the Beastman, bro.
All right, man.
Full moon over here. I'm always up.
Nice.
All right.